man is back.
Oh, my gosh, the ring got messed up. This is a 5 out of freaking 5.
It is beat making time.
Next week is E3 week. My album comes out next week.
I have delivered.
This is your boy.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash the True Inferno. Back at it with another Call of Duty Modern Warfare gameplay on a Tuesday. So yeah, so by the time this video is released, it will be rather Christmas Eve. So I do not want to release any videos on Christmas Day. So that's why this video is coming out on Christmas Eve. So there you go with that. Alright, so here's what's going on. So early in the year, I gave you guys my 10 most anticipated movies of the year. So, and I saw a number of those movies throughout the entire year, rather. And I can now give you guys my top 10 movies of 2019 before we switch on over to a new decade. Speaking of which, I do want to mention to you guys at some point in time next year, probably 3 weeks into the new year, I will give you guys my top 10, or actually I should do this on New Year's Day. I'm probably gonna do this on New Year's Day, actually. I'm gonna give you guys my top 10 movies of the decade from 2010 on up. I'm reviewing every single movie that came out each year, and I'm, refresh my memory in terms of which movies I saw, and then I will conduct my list from that. Alright, so let's not waste any time. Let's get on with number 10. Detective Pikachu. Alright, so this joint came out this year. I'm sorry, all the movies came out this year, but this joint came out, oh, this is interesting. It came out in Japan first, May the 3rd, 2019, and it came out in the US 7 days later, May the 10th. So, and before I get on with this, if you have not seen any of these movies, I need to give you guys some spoiler alerts. I will talk about the plot in some of these movies. And in fact, 2 of the movies on the list came out this month, and about like 3 of these movies came out within the last 3 months or so. Yeah, so spoiler alert, there you go with that. All right, so number 10 is interesting. So I actually went and saw this movie. I was a little bit iffy I was going to see it or not, but I did see it. So basically, if you forgot what this movie is about, is this. So basically, this one dude found a Pikachu who can talk, and he's the only one who can hear him. And he's trying to figure out what happened to his father, who is a detective. So he went to the city where his father was at, and this Pikachu was his father's partner. So he had to go out and figure out why this Pikachu can talk and what happened to his father. And this Pikachu have amnesia, so they're trying to figure out what happened with his memory. So at the end of the day, it was some secret organization involved, trying to capture Mewtwo and things of that nature and brainwash Pokemon and really trying to turn people into Pokemon. So they had to stop that as well, and kind of find out that the Pikachu is his father, which was pretty crazy. And thanks to Mewtwo, everything was sent back to normal, things of that nature. It was a good movie. It wasn't like, something that will stay with me forever. The only part that will stay with me forever about the movie, the fact that the homie Charizard was in this movie, because that's my all-time favorite Pokemon. Mewtwo actually is my all-time second favorite Pokemon. So yeah, that's the only thing that would really stick out to me about this movie. Otherwise, there's not much here that made me say, oh man, this is top 5 or anything like that. But Pikachu, Detective Pikachu, rather, is still a good movie based off the game, by the way, to some degree, I guess. But yeah, let's move on to number 9. Men in Black International. So this is the 4th Men in Black movie that existed. Now, they calling this a spinoff. So I guess we could call this a spinoff. So here we go. And basically, this joint came out June 11th in New York City, but it came out all throughout the US 3 days later. So here's what happened. Basically, there's a new recruit who found them. This one chick found them, and she traveled to MIB headquarters and basically saying she wants to join. So they was like, okay, we're gonna send you to London for a trial base, and she get paired up with the quote unquote best agent over there, who is the same guy who plays Thor. And they go out and solve this one mystery. I'm not gonna get into the mystery because it's not all that there. I mean, this is like 6 months ago, so I'm not gonna remember all of it. But basically, and then I will give you a spoiler though. There is a traitor within MIB London. That's all I'm saying. Is it London or Paris? Yeah, it's London. Okay, yeah. So there is a trader within the London branch, and that person rather, not he or she, but actually there's a bunch of he's. I don't recall there being a female at the London branch, but they tried this, and he became the main antagonist basically. So there was no Will Smith, there was no Tommy Lee Jones in this movie, unfortunately. And I was like, if they were to make a cameo in this movie, they better not show him in the trailers and the commercial, none of that. Keep it a surprise, and this movie would have been really dope. But they were not in the movie to begin with, so that's the main reason why this movie is number 9 on this list. But overall, the story was good. The story was good. I can't really hate on it. Not much to hate on this movie. So let's move on to number 8. Godzilla, King of the Monsters. So this is the sequel to Godzilla that came out 5 years ago, 2014. So this joint came out May the 13th in Belgium, and then it came out May 31st in the United States, which is interesting. So basically the deal is these monsters, the giant monsters, are being revived, and there's this one monster who is originally, if I remember says it correctly, he is originally from outer space. I forgot how you pronounce his name, so I'm not gonna go try it. So the outer space monster shows up, beats Godzilla, and he became the new king of the monsters. And basically, he getting all the monsters to go crazy to try to destroy the world. So obviously, the humans, they trying to revive Godzilla and trying to convince the government, yo, we need Godzilla to beat these monsters and things of that nature. So it's a lot going on here, but it's still cool nevertheless. The funny part to me about this movie, because there's this little girl who is the daughter of the scientist, and I forgot what his father does. I don't remember. But it was funny because she took this one device that controls the monsters, and she was using it at Fenway Park, but obviously this device was not working on the alien. I mean, this is a big time monster right here, and the alien was trying to chase her and destroy her and the machine, which is hilarious. Like it was singling her out from everybody else, this is a small little girl, but he was like hunting her down like crazy. It was hilarious to me. That part was funny. Of course, Godzilla was revived, which means a well-known character from this franchise died in the process, and Godzilla apparently had a wife who is like this butterfly monster. So she was on his side, and those two took on, the other monsters that was under the alien monster. And of course, Godzilla won without question, obviously. Now, they are painting a picture for King Kong, which would be the next Godzilla movie. I believe it's called Godzilla versus King Kong, something like that. I can't wait for that. That's going to be sick. But, the story was pretty good. It was all over the place in terms of, because they were actually main villains outside from the giant evil monster or whatever. Because there was like people who were trying to use them to, I guess, rebuild the world, or try to say, yo, these creatures was here before us, so we need to share with them, blah, blah, blah. So it was a lot going on. It was still, to me, better than Men in Black and Detective Pikachu, but it deserved to be number 8. Let's move on to number 7. Fast and Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw. All right, so this is a spin-off right here. So this is the movie that got Tyrese so pissed off, which is hilarious. Because this one does not involve Vin Diesel, who is like the originator, one of the two originators. It does not involve Tyrese. It does not involve Ludacris. It only involves The Rock and, what's his face? Oh yeah, Jason Statham. Or Jason Statham, how you pronounce his last name? But you get the point. So the deal is this. So there's this super soldier who is out looking for a super virus called Snowflake. And Shaw's sister stole it and has it. And Luke and Shaw had to team up against this guy. And again, this is a super soldier. So, they had to deal with that. And, you got a bunch of car chasers and stuff like that. And she infected herself with the sim. So they try to get the sim off of her and keep it away from the super soldier and their crew and things of that nature. And it was pretty cool. Shout out to Roman Reigns. He actually made an appearance in this movie. They should have got the Usos in this movie as well, since they are also related to The Rock. They're cousins. Roman Reigns is not the only guy related to The Rock. I don't want to point that out there. But, it was still a cool moment to see Roman Reigns in this movie. And the movie was pretty cool. And how it ended, it sets up like there might be a sequel. because the main, even though the super soldier was defeated, the main villainous group behind the super soldier is still active, and they said some very interesting stuff at the end of the movie. So there might be a sequel to this movie, or it could carry over to Fast and Furious 9, and that's obviously it's announced. So yeah, there you go with that. So pretty good movie. I won't put this in my top 5, but it's gonna get really good from this point going forward. And I almost forgot, this joint came out July 13th at Dolby Theater, and it came out August 2nd throughout the US. I almost forgot to mention that. Alright, so with that said, number 6, Jumanji, The Next Level. Alright, so this is okay, this is gonna be weird. So I believe this is a sequel to the first, not the very first Jumanji movie. That one started Robin Williams, so not that one, but this is the sequel to the previous one, which is called Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. That one came out 2017. That was a great movie, and I'll be honest, that one was better than this one, but this one was still really good nevertheless, and it was pretty funny to me. So this joint came out this month, actually, December 13th, which is the same day my Beat album came out. So TrueInferno.bandcamp.com to pick that joint up. All right, so basically 3 years after the previous movie, the 4 main characters who were, at the time, they were high school students. All 4 of them were in different worlds, but ever since then, they became cool. And what happened was, I think, they're going to separate ways, but they wanted to meet up at this one spot. Now, Spencer, the guy who played The Rock's character in the previous movie, he was having a lack of confidence issues. So his mindset was, I'm going to go back into, because he actually got the game. He rebuilt the game and all that stuff. So he wanted to go back in Jumanji and play as The Rock again and try to get that confidence back. So when his 3 friends was like, yo, where is Spencer? They went to his house and nobody was there except for his grandfather and his grandfather's ex-friend and ex-business partner. So, and I think they're like Eddie and Milo. Yeah, Milo was the grandfather and Eddie was the, I believe, yeah, Eddie was the friend. And they were beefing because they were both old, but Milo, he did not want to retire. He wanted to keep on working at this restaurant that they both own. But Eddie was like, bruh, I'm old, I'm tired, and I wanted to retire. So he retired. And when Eddie retired, Milo had to give up the restaurant as well and retire. So there was some bad, where Eddie tried to, patch things up. Milo was like, no, I'm not having that crap. So, yeah, there you go with that. And, oh no, I'm not, my bad, I got the names mixed up. Eddie is the grandfather. Milo is the friend right there. So what happened was when the 3 friends came over and into the game, 2 of them made it in, which was a problem. So 2 of them made it in, and the cute chick, I forgot her name, I think her name is Bethany. Yeah, she didn't make it in, so she looking like what the heck. Come to find out, the tall buff black dude, Spencer's girlfriend, who she was in a rocky relationship with Spencer, and the 2 old guys made it in the game. And the characters got messed up. So Spencer was playing some new character called the Thief. Fridge, I think, yeah, that's the tall black dude. Normally he would play Kevin Hart's character, but instead he was playing what's his name? Jack Black's character, the fat guy. And instead Milo was playing Kevin Hart's character. And Eddie was The Rock's character. So this was pretty hilarious. It was pretty funny. And then Bethany had to go to I forgot this dude's name. Cause they had a 5th character in the game, and this dude was stuck in the game for a long time in the previous movie. But thanks to the 4 of them, they got him out too. So she went to his house and told him what happened, and the 2 of them went back into the game. And she went in as a horse, which was pretty funny. And then there was some mixture water whatever, so they could we've changed characters around. So obviously the 4 friends got their original characters and things of that nature. And then they had to go get this item to save Jumanji again in order for them to beat the game and get out. And in the process, Eddie and Milo, they basically patched up their differences and became cool. But but Milo stayed behind because he was going to die. So he was like, you know what? I can either die or I can stay in this video game as a horse. Well, he stayed in the video game as a horse. Everybody else returned. It was a pretty good movie. It's probably the most underrated movie of the year. Looking at my top 5, even though it did not make my top 5, but look at my top 5 and look at the movies it did beat, in my opinion. This movie is the most underrated movie of the year. All right, speaking of which, let's move on to number 5. Spider-Man Far From Home. Okay, so there was a lot of question marks regarding this movie because this was the first movie to come out after Avengers In Game. We'll get to that later. And in terms of, you know, because remember, Spider-Man felt the whole I don't feel so good thing in the last Avengers movie. And this was going to come out after the Avengers movie. So obviously, Spider-Man was going to come back. We all know this. We all know that Spider-Man was going to come back. We don't know how. We don't know what in what capacity and things of that nature. We don't know about Nick Cage because he disappeared too. So we don't know. We don't know what was going to happen here. But we'll explain more about that in Endgame. Because Spider-Man obviously came back, not Nick Cage, Nick Fury. Nick Fury came back, stuff like that. So, here's the deal with this movie. So, first of all, this joint came out, oh, this is interesting, June 26th at the TCL Chinese Theater. It came out July 2nd throughout the U.S. So, there was an issue involving the Earth Elementals, apparently. And what happened is, Peter Parker was going on a 2-week summer field trip to Europe. So this was like a school field trip or whatever. And there was an issue there. So, you know, Spider-Man was needed. And luckily, you know, his mom packed his outfit. Because originally he wanted to leave it behind. But she packed it without him knowing. And he needed it because there was the Elemental was over there. And also Mysterio was over there trying to stop him. So the two of them teamed up and they created this bond. And basically it was like Parker was given these special Tony Stark sunglasses to say, yo, he's going to be the next guy or to carry the load for all the heroes, stuff like that. And Parker didn't want that responsibility because he felt, well, he's a kid, for one. And for two, he felt like he wasn't ready. But he felt like Mysterio was ready, so he gave it to him. And apparently the whole Mysterio, what is it? The Elementals thing was a setup by Mysterio. And all he wanted was the glasses. So when he got the glasses, he could put his real plan to work and basically try to kill off Spider-Man and kill off Nick Fury. But Spider-Man got rise of the plan, and Mary Jane figured out who Spider-Man was, and the two of them finally get into a relationship. So Spider-Man had to go and defeat Nick Fury, who had a squad behind him. So he defeated Nick Fury. I'm not Nick Fury, Mysterio rather, and the entire squad and stuff like that. And there you go. Now, how this movie ended was really crazy because Mysterio, before he died, he planted this, he framed Spider-Man. He told the world that, yo, Spider-Man killed Mysterio, who was viewed by the entire world as a hero. And he told the world, yo, Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So everybody now, and of course, Jameson, who hates Spider-Man, is like, yo, this is what happened here. So now, and that's how the movie ended, which was pretty crazy. So, with that out the way, let's get on to number 4, Captain Marvel. So I will admit, originally this was my number 5 and Spider-Man Far From Home was my number 4, but I really like this movie more so than Spider-Man, so I'm like, I gotta change it. So this joint came out in London first, February the 27th, and then it came out in the US March the 8th. So, oh, and this is early in the year, like 9 months ago, but what happened was she got, like, I try to remember how this went. But she got her powers from, if memory serves me correctly, I think a dying Scroll member, if memory serves me correctly. So that's how she became Captain Marvel, and she was working with a younger Nick Fury and Phil. So Phil was obviously, this was back in the day. So, and then their thing was they trying to figure out, yo, what happened and what's the deal with the Kree and the Skrulls and things of that nature. And the Skrulls were chasing her, but come to find out the Skrulls are actually the good guys and the Kree were the bad guys, if memory serves me correctly, in this movie. Because I believe in the comics it's the other way around, but I don't remember. So they had to fight off the Kree. And she was, and I try to think, was she working with the Kree? Yeah, she was working with the Kree originally, that's what it was. In another planet. And then she got amnesia and ended up in Earth. And she found out that she was actually an Earthling. That's what happened. And then, of course, she was able to put her powers to the fullest and defeated the Kree. And what happened was, and she went back home to Earth for a few minutes, but then she left to basically patrol the rest of the universe and be a defender, stuff like that. It was a great movie. It was a really, really great movie. And I really like the main character here. So, yeah, very good movie. All right, let's move on to number 3. Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. So this was the last movie I saw. So this joint came out December 16th in Hollywood and 4 days later throughout the U.S. So 3 days ago. Well, you know, movies nowadays, they come out on Thursday evening. So that's when I actually saw it. So I guess we're picking up where we last left off on episode 8. Because this is episode 9, by the way. And basically, Palpatine is back. And he's not, like, he's dead, but not fully dead. Because he got, like, every single Sith member inside of him. And the plan is to get the main character, Rey, to kill him. And once he kills him, she would be the new Sith Lord. Because she is actually his granddaughter. So, and of course, he got Palpatine to convert to get, what's his face? Kylo Ren, who is, if you remember, Han Solo's son. And of course, Leia's son as well, to bring her to him, so this could go down. So he was trying to get her to join the dark side. So they were going at it with each other, obviously, and she and her crew were trying to find the Wayfinder, so they can go there and end it. And within the crew, there was some turmoil within the crew because she was having problems because she was fearing that she may turn to the dark side, and then there was other characters, the black dude and the other guy. They were having issues as well, not just with each other, but with Rey as well. So there was a lot going on, a little bit of turmoil within the group. And then, they made it, and of course, oh man, and Leia dies in this movie, which is messed up. But yeah, and then they made it to the spot where Palpatine was at and battled his forces, and they defeated him, and without Rey turning to the dark side, by the way. And actually, her and Kylo Ren, they actually teamed up against him. But Kylo actually dies as well. And they actually kissed. I want to put that out there. They actually kissed before they died. Before he died, rather. And I guess, that's pretty much it. And this is it. Like, in terms of the Skywalker saga. So, going back to episode 1. And everything that happened from episode 1 all the way up to the original 3 movies. Episode 4, 5, 6. Up to this point. And every other movie in between, every other video game in between, whatever the case may be. This is it for this storyline. This is it. So there was no hidden credits that said, oh, this is what's coming up next or anything like that. No, this is it right here. I just want to point that out there. All right, but it was still a good movie. I was like, oh, this could be the best movie of the year. But the main problem is, if you remember episode 8, the black dude, I forgot his name, Finn. That's his name, Finn. He actually, I guess, we're going out with this Asian chick, but that was not really brought to the front like at all. And in fact, there was they introduced a black chick into the mix, a new black chick to the mix, and they had a connection because they were both former Sith members, or whatever the case may be, stormtroopers. They were both former stormtroopers, and so they had this connection. And I'm like, he's gonna cheat on the Asian chick and hook up with her, but no, that didn't happen. So it's like, okay, so like, what's up with Finn's relationship with the Asian chick? What's up with Finn's relationship with this new black chick? Like, what's going on here? So that kind of got me a bit, but otherwise, this is a great movie. I don't care what anybody says. This was a great movie. All right, let's move on to number 2, Joker. All right, so Joker came out. Oh, this is new. August 31st in Venice, or how you pronounce that joint, and October 4th in the US. So this joint, there was like a 1 month difference there. That's weird. All right, so this is basically the creation of the Joker here in their own world right here. So basically, we got Arthur Flex, who lives with his mom in Gotham City, obviously. So basically, he's trying to be he works as a party clown, but he's trying to be a stand-up comedian, and he has some hallucinations. Like, for example, he thought he was going out with this one black chick who was really cute, by the way. So actually, yeah, he got a medical disorder, rather. So that caused him to laugh at inappropriate times, and he needed medication, from social services. And what ended up happening was he started to turn to a life of crime slowly but surely. Now, here's what happened. Arthur's mom what did he say? She keep believing in Thomas Wayne, because apparently the belief is that Arthur Flex is actually Thomas' older son. So obviously Bruce was in the movie, and that was the belief until he went to Wayne Manor and actually talked to Bruce, which is very ironic. But and he met Alfred Pennyworth, by the way. So yeah, that was Alfred. I'm not sure that was Alfred or not, but yeah, that was Alfred. And he learned the truth. And then once he met Thomas, he told him the truth, like, yo, actually your mom is crazy. Nope, you're not my son, and blah, blah, blah. So when he went and looked into it, yeah, Thomas was telling the truth. And he actually killed his own mom. And he killed a few other people. And he was slowly becoming the Joker. And he went on this talk show and killed this one dude who he looked up to, but made fun of him because I don't know how he got this footage of his stand-up routine that he did. But he killed him. And everybody would believe in the Joker character. So it was, you know, the high-class citizens against the low-class citizens. The low-class citizens were all about the Joker, stuff like that. So on that night, that's when Thomas and Martha died in the alley with the gunshot after Martha's pearls got taken by that one criminal. And Bruce was standing there by himself. Thus the slow but surely creation of Batman. But they didn't get on to that point. Now, in terms of that, I have no clue if they're going to continue on with this specific universe, which would be cool if they did. But what I'm hearing is this is going to be a standalone film with no sequels. And they could, again, so yeah, they could go on with these type of films in the DC universe. So it's like a darker, more experimental material. So that would be pretty cool. So don't expect a Joker 2 or anything like that, but you may expect a Batman to be the sequel to this movie, something like that. All right. So before we go on with number one, I'm gonna give you guys some honorable mentions rather. The first one is Shazam. So Shazam came out in Toronto first, March the 15th, and then came out in the US April 5th, which is weird. This was a little fun little movie. It was pretty cool, you know, whatever. But I didn't think it was good enough to be in my top 10. The ending was like, I know there was like Shazam have a family. After reading the Wikipedia on this movie, I had no clue. I thought it was just Shazam and that's it. But no, apparently he had a family. I had no clue about that. So that was pretty dope. But you know, the story was pretty good. It was funny, but I didn't think it was good enough to make it in my top 10. And then I saw Dark Phoenix. So this joint came out June 4th at the TCL Chinese Theater, and then came out June 7th everywhere else. Out of all the movies, this is the worst movie of the year that I've seen. This was not good. This was not good in my opinion, because there was like no connection, in my opinion, with the animated series. That's how I grew up on X-Men, based off the animated series, not the comics or anything like that. And then there was these new main antagonists that showed up that want the Phoenix power. And I'm like, who are they? Like, what? So it was like, I don't know about this. It was weird. So I don't know how I feel about that. And then I did like the fact that even like some of the X-Men members were split. Like, for example, Beast joined up with Magneto because there was some mutant that wanted to kill Jean, and Beast joined up with him because Mystique dies in his in this movie rather, which was crazy. Obviously, we saw the trailer, and they gave that away, which was dumb on their part. And again, I have no clue who the identity of the main video. I know it was some female who wanted her powers, but apparently they are in the Marvel comics. But it's like, for somebody like me who grew up on the animated series, I was like, I don't know how I feel about that. So yeah, there you go with that. All right, so we all know what number one is. So say it with me, folks. Number one, Avengers In Game. And I got this movie on Blu-ray. I had to pick this joint up on Blu-ray. This movie was really, really dope and long at the same time, but really, really dope. So this joint came out April 22nd at the Los Angeles Convention Center, and it came out 4 days later all throughout the U.S. So it picked up after Infinity War. So basically at this point, you know, Thanos used the Infinity Gauntlet and disintegrated half of all life in the universe. So, and then Tony was stuck in space with Nebula, and he was running out of air until Miss Marvel, or Captain Marvel rather, showed up and saved him. Because Nebula, obviously, she's like part robot rapper, so she was straight. But Tony, on the other hand, he was losing air. So she showed up, and yeah, Miss Marvel, or Captain Marvel rather, showed up and returned them to Earth, and they reunited with the Avengers. And what happened was they managed to locate Thanos, who, like, here's what happened. He used the gauntlets a second time to destroy the Infinity Stones. So after that, Thor kills Thanos by basically cutting his head off. And then 5 years later, you know, everybody trying to return to some normal lives, but the problem was half the universe was missing. Like, they were gone. But what happened was, what's his name? Ant-Man returned from the quantum realm because he was, if you recall that movie, he was stuck in the quantum realm for, I guess 2 hours or something like that, but he managed to escape. And then he brought out the whole time travel philosophy or idea to the Avengers, and Tony Stark managed to figure it out what it was, so, or how to make it work. So they went back in time to get the Infinity Gauntlets, but back in time is also a Thanos. So once he figured out, yo, why are there two of my daughters, referring to Nebula, he captured one and found out what was going on, what happened to himself in the future. He found out, oh snap, I did get all 5 Infinity Stones, and I did snap my fingers and all that stuff. And he found out that his head got sliced off. Which is funny. So what happened was he went to the future, or yeah, where the Avengers came from, to try and get those Infinity Stones. But in the process, but before that, Hulk used the Infinity Stones to try and reverse everything, which he did, and everybody was returned. So we got a big, gigantic battle for the Infinity Stones, and obviously Captain Marvel showed up as well. It was crazy. It was really, really dope. That's the best part of the whole movie. Unfortunately, Iron Man had to use the Infinity Gauntlets to make Thanos and all his forces disappear, and in the process, he killed himself. And also, we also saw the death of what's the name? Black Widow, which also sucked. And then when Captain America had to return the stones to their certain points in the time zone, he actually stayed behind so he can hook up with his original love interest. And he grew up to be an old man. And we found out that Sam Wilson, who was he? Was he Hawkeye? Or what was he in there? I forgot what his character name was. Not Hawkeye, but Falcon. He apparently was going to be the new Captain America. So that was pretty interesting as well. So yeah, Avengers In Game, #1 movie of the year. So I'm going to call it a wrap. So what I'm going to do again next week, we're going to look at the top 10 movies of the decade. And then I'm going to give you guys my new list for 2020, my top 10 anticipated video games of the year, and my top 10 anticipated movies of the year. So I'm going to call it a wrap. So with all that said, y'all know who this is. This is boy New Jay Gatsby, a.k.a. New Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.